It is not sort of created within a vacuum, but is very much sort of connected to other political forces and social forces and business forces like real estate, right? Because the real estate is very, as we should know, it's very political. You know, if you sort of think currently about gentrification, it's very business oriented. As we think about how a given area goes up and down in value, oftentimes sort of depending on the kinds of people that live there, but more so the kinds of resources that get put in there once business or city services find an interest within that particular area. So two very, very important things. One, school becomes free. Two, it becomes free because of the fact that you have these property taxes that was sort of paying for these schools. And there'll be some conflict with that, particularly from upper and elite folk who, one, didn't have children in schools, or two, didn't have children at all. For them, it was sort of, well, what's this benefit for me? What am I sort of getting out of this? And again, this is when Horace Mann would sort of harken back to the current political climate, or rather the current social climate, which was so sort of ripe with corruption and really touching upon people's fear. A fear that if children were not going to be educated, then you were going to have a high risk of crime and violence in your neighboring surroundings. Lastly, the other important feature in sort of thinking about change that would happen within the common school movement that would certainly have a historical trajectory to today is the feminization of teaching. Common school movement, while let me backtrack a little bit. Common school movement still did not make school mandatory for people. School was still not organized. The change that we would see that would be significant was the fact that school was made free, and the fact that school was made free because of these property taxes. But the age group that the common school movement sort of focused on, roughly, was what we would consider elementary and middle school. Some high school, we really wouldn't see the development of high school until the progressive era. For the most part, you sort of had elementary, or we consider now elementary and middle, and then you sort of had college. So there was this gap for some time. Women would be introduced into the teaching workforce because of how it was seen as cheaper to employ women than it was to employ men. They were also introduced because of the other sort of gendered stereotypes that women are more nurturing, or more emotional, and sort of better equipped to deal with young children. And again, we're thinking about how schools were seen as at this time, and currently too, as socializing agents that sort of help these young children grow. So it's not just about literacy practice, but it's also about moral and character development also. And it was really seen as sort of women were sort of seen as the best figures for doing that kind of raising and teaching, if you will. So it's important to sort of think about this feminization of teaching within the elementary school levels, because we still see an overrepresentation of women in elementary school today.